All right, I just got off of a call with one of our clients, Dr. Nina, who had a $100,000 coaching offer on the table. And at the last minute, the company said, no, sorry, we don't have the budget for this anymore. And I honestly expect to see this a lot in the coming months and the coming years, as there's a lot of change in society. And, specifically Dr. Nina is in the US, and the current administration there has decided to cut a lot of government funding and is no longer requiring diversity, equity, and inclusion programs that have been, a law for the last 4 to 8 years. And so there's going to be a lot less corporate opportunity, budget, desire for coaches having these big contracts. And, I don't just see this in America. We have another client, Tara, in the UK, who historically was working inside of other corporations, and all of those contracts ended in 2024. And so she was also left wondering, where is my next client going to come from? Even I worked a few years inside of a multi-7-figure coaching company, and it was amazing because I just got to show up and do the coaching. I didn't have to worry about marketing or sales or business development. I just got to show up and share my expertise, coach their clients, and then leave at the end of the day. Now, all of us have realized that those all have expiration dates on it. Even if Dr. Nina did get the yes, she was still working with us to figure out what next. What after that? So I'm Hannah, I'm the CEO of Dream Life Consulting, where we help coaches and experts enroll 3 to 10 of their own high ticket clients every single month using our systems for lead generation, sales, and scaling. And the truth is, you can rely on just whatever comes, or referrals, or one big cash cow, but inevitably those things always run out. Even if you're still in a corporate contract, let's be real. The next time that the manager changes, or the leadership says there's going to be cuts, or again, the government says we're just not putting money into these programs anymore, you're going to be back on the street wondering, where's my next client coming from? And another one of our clients, Kim, she's a Canadian, but she lives in the UK. She had an entire career, and after she retired, she was taken on as a consultant, and they paid her $150 for the year. And she loved it. She loved just being able to show up as a consultant, collect her money, still have some of that retirement lifestyle. But she started working with us this year because she also was wondering that entire time, what next? And the other thing that Kim was running into is that when you work inside of an organization, your hands are kind of tied, right? You have to live and work and produce within a bureaucracy. You have to follow their rules. I felt this way too when I was inside of someone else's company. I was always kind of worried, not to mention cancel culture on top of all of this, but am I going to follow all of the protocol? What if I, coach someone into a decision that their manager doesn't like? There's just a whole lot of stress that comes from the comfort of just coaching for other people or being a consultant inside of another company. Sure, you get paid, but at the end of the day, you never really own your position. And so many coaches, whether you have had a big, 6-figure corporate contract, or you've just had a couple of clients from referrals that you're just happy have come to you, you do, at the end of the day, always kind of wonder, what next? And we've been sold this marketing hullabaloo where most coaches then think, okay, great. Well, if I'm not just going to be working in corporations or relying on referrals, then I have to go do all of these crazy marketing stunts that I'm not willing to do. And I was there too. I burnt out on social media. I didn't want to be dancing on TikTok or documenting my life or having to do all these crazy webinars just to get in front of the right people, because it's very nice to always be in front of the right people. And coaching high performers, coaching people who are a part of a big company or who have already invested to join something, and you just get to show up and do the coaching. But like I said, we're going to be seeing less and less of these opportunities for coaches to just basically apply for a job within a company. But the good news is, I don't see the need for coaching going anywhere. Now, I'm not saying that coaching is for everyone and that you should go try to make this available to every single person. I do know that there are always going to be high performers, and there are always going to be people with big problems and motivation. And this is where, my whole work and focus around building transformational programs, high ticket coaching. If you haven't heard me talk about this before, go explore some of the other videos, but I just know that it's only the demand for what coaches do is only going to grow. It's just that the phase of it living inside of these corporations is ending. And as smart people, we have to embrace that change is the only constant. And this truly is an opportunity. Because like I said, I know some of the pitfalls of being inside of another company. And as much as you're in your comfort zone, you're actually very vulnerable. And so whether you have a contract right now that you love, until it gets on the chopping block, or you just lost a contract, or again, you've never even had one, I'm glad you're here because I want to talk to you about the direction that coaches need to move into in 2025 if they actually want to get their expertise out into the world. Now, if you are someone who's just like, whatever comes, I don't need to chase anything, I'm just kind of treating this like a hobby, then perfect. But if you're someone who wants to show up more like a business owner and really think about how can I do this sustainably? What can I rinse and repeat to know that I will always be in demand? Then this video is for you. Because another one of our clients, Ricky, just said in a recent video that the way that we think about building coaching businesses is a lot like having a dial for lead generation, like a radio. He said that our CEO system helps him turn up the volume when he wants some clients and then turn it down when he is full. And a lot of our clients have many things going on. So like Dr. Nina is a professor at one of the top universities and a medical doctor. And Tara also has a family and another business that she's running. And so this isn't about saying, okay, you have to completely reinvent everything, but this is about starting to think about building a base of abundance for yourself. Something that you can turn up and down and tap into and not be crying on the bathroom floor when one person says, no, sorry, that 100K budget just went away in the blink of an eye. And that is really thinking about building a client acquisition system, not just a launch, not just a blog, but something that is going to consistently be putting you in front of the right people. Because if you've been used to teaching inside of corporations or working with high performers, then you don't want to just go out on social media and dance around for every Tom, Dick, and Harry. You want to be positioned in front of the right people. And this is hard to do when you are inside of the box or you've just been doing your job, because coaches have so many areas of expertise and tools and things you could say that you do. I'm always hearing coaches they're multi-passionate brains, or maybe I could create a mastermind to make women more confident in the workplace, and maybe I could have an app that helps them monitor their heart rate, and maybe I could be giving little wisdom inside of a low ticket program, and maybe I could go speak, and maybe I could write a book. And there's just all of these directions that you could go. But the truth is, there are always going to be high performers who want a transformation. And the way that we focus our work at Dream Life Consulting is around selling and enrolling high performers into transformational programs that they pay anywhere between $3,000 and $15,000 for. Because we help our coaches and our experts position themselves as a no-brainer, as an easy yes. And we do this by aligning them first with a profitable segment of the market. This isn't for everyone. You don't just want to go spamming Tom, Dick, and Harry on Instagram. You actually want to be targeting and positioning for people who understand the value of coaching. And so this comes down to two things. Number one, you're targeting. Are you reaching out to people who actually have money and see your value? And number two, are you positioning yourself as the thing that they would pay high ticket for, right? They're not going to pay high ticket for some AI app. They can go do that for free. They're not going to pay high ticket to just hear your talk. They can go find that on YouTube. So we have to think about positioning ourselves and packaging our expertise in a way that is different than, sharing our value with corporations. because in the past, these coaches would pitch or present or position themselves to these corporations with long sales cycles, right? It's like you got to email the HR manager and say, who do I need to talk to on your team about professional development programs? And then they get back to you 3 weeks later and they say, okay, here's the person. And then you say, hey, like, where are you at with making decisions this quarter? What's your budget? What do you guys need? And honestly, this offer that Dr. Nino had on the table, it had taken 5 months to just get to the no in their budgeting conversations. And so if you want to go down that old path and go get corporate clients, like, that's what you do. You have to talk to all these people in the company to get a yes or a no at the end. And there's usually a pitch deck and a horse and pony show that you'll have to, validate your value, and 87 pages of Google Docs so that these corporations can approve you on their budget. Maybe, hopefully, likely not now though. So what we need to do is start thinking about who can you position yourself towards if it's not these corporations. And with our client Tara, who's in the UK, she had been working with these corporations on communication and profitability. So we had to start thinking about, well, what other profiles care about communication and profitability? And the truth is, small businesses, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, real estate agents, tax consultants, like, she has an entire list of people that she can target. And then we plug this into our system. We have a software for client acquisition where you can just literally check the boxes and be reaching out to thousands of those people every single month instead of a few corporations every single month. It is a much more viable market to be thinking about selling to individuals in 2025 because people do have budgets, people do have pain, people do have goals, and you, as the expert that you are, can think about actually getting these tools to real people. Not just having it live within someone else's HR department, but actually sharing your impact. And we also think about positioning you as a thought leader. Because again, there's all this marketing guru advice about lead magnets and CTAs and all of this content noise that's honestly just keeping us focused on the wrong things. But it's very simple. You just have to get in front of the right people, first and foremost. That's the C to our CEO system. Then E, you gotta educate and engage them in some way. This is a nurturing process. Again, in the corporate world, this is months and months of back and forth and board meetings and pitch decks and Google documents and number crunching. But when you simplify this to take it to mass market, then you do need to have some sort of sales asset. And I talk about this deeply inside of the full walkthrough of our CEO system. I'll link that other YouTube video below. But having some sales assets, some evergreen videos. We have our clients record manifestos that literally just explain, your story as an expert, the problems that you solve, how you solve it for individuals, and then has an invitation to work with you. This isn't some smoke show webinar that's like, I'm gonna give you free value and we're gonna have a circle of women sisterhood meetup and all this other crap that people are trying to lure people into their communities with. But it's truly direct to consumer. This is what I'm about. If this is what you're looking for, we can continue the conversation. And for folks who feel educated and empowered enough to be interested in working with you, then they move into the O, the offer. And this is where, Dr. Nina had a 100K offer. That was a year-long comprehensive program that was going to meet with lots of employees and include lots of on-site days. But consumers aren't really interested in all of those bells and whistles and are you going to come over to my house and how many times are we going to have phone calls? The truth is, humans on the internet, the way that we connect with them, just want to know if you can solve their problem. Corporations have way more red tape that you have to go through. So it's much easier to present a solution, an offer, to individuals to say, hey, we will work together to solve those problems over the next 3 to 6 months. And our clients charge anywhere from $3,000 to $15,000 for those programs once they go through our process and build what we call our easy yes offer. And so all of these women now, Dr. Nina, Tara, Kim, are living a very different life than they were in 2024 when they would be just kind of at the demand of these corporations or trying to pitch HR people and chasing down email addresses. What their life looks like today, and why Dr. Nina was not worried about this, is that, so that's a simple overview of our CEO process. Again, you can see the entire thing in depth. You can see exactly what it looks like in the video below. But what this lifestyle looks like now for these people who have left the corporate contract, relying on referrals, relying on people to bring them clients, they have taken on the marketing hat. And so I want you to know what their life looks like, because I think the internet portrays this crazy influencer lifestyle where you have to be posting content or hosting events or hashtagging all of the time. But what our CEOs' lives look like once they decide to use our CEO system and build a base of abundance and a client acquisition system is that daily, Monday through Friday, they open up our software and they see thousands of qualified leads connecting with them. Then some of those leads give a literal thumbs up and say, yeah, I want to learn more. I saw your profile, or I saw your initial outreach message, and that messaging resonated with me. So I do want to learn more about your work, about your tools, about your expertise, depending on how you're positioned. They send over that video, and most of our clients have a team member, a commission-based team member, who helps them manage these conversations and make sure the right people get the right resources. And then some of the people who watch that video say, hey, I'd love to talk more about working together, and they book discovery calls. Again, this is not rocket science, but it is a rinse and repeat reliable system that doesn't have you checking your email all hours of the day wondering what HR manager got back to me, or did I piss off the manager that I'm working for, or is someone gonna send me a referral today? You can actually see where the clients are coming from. And you're in the position to hand select the ones you want to take on. So we really position our lead generation systems and our client acquisition process to feel like an application. Keep in mind, the people that we work with and the way that we position them, they've had a long career. They are professors, they are medical doctors, they have a family, they're doing other things besides chasing clients all of the time. And so we do make sure that there's a qualification process, especially if you're used to working with those high performers. You don't want to have to sit and convince people on a sales call. You don't want to have to try and just get anyone in who has a credit card, but you get to show up to those discovery or those offer calls from a place of abundance. And we talk about in our sales process this just kind of sit back energy. Let's sit back and see if they are the right ones. If they are kind of selling themselves to you and saying, I've seen the work that you do. I really do want to be in your classroom, or I want to be in your program, or I want to be mentored by you. And that is an incredibly different relationship than corporate bringing you in and you standing in front of a room and being like, we all have to do this now because it's government mandated. And so it's amazing for coaches to really position themselves as a CEO and come from a place of being in demand, being elite. You aren't for everyone. You don't need to go spamming social media. You just need to be in front of the right people, positioned for high ticket. And so these women are enrolling clients consistently, charging anywhere between $3,000 and $15,000. And they all report feeling so much more free. Now, there's a period of building. I'm not gonna lie. You do have to be willing to change some of the ways that you've been showing up or reaching out or even coaching clients. But I promise, and I talk about this in other videos, I would be telling you if there was a better way, because I have spent 10 years asking myself, isn't there a better way, right? There's the solopreneur hustle where you're just constantly wondering, where's the next client coming from? And you're trying to just chase referrals and you're in that Tom, Dick, and Harry phase of why isn't anyone getting this? Is someone gonna come over and see my value and be ready to work with me on this solopreneur side? And then there's this corporate coach side who has gotten comfortable just doing the coaching, just relying on, being paid and whatever shows up in the company, I'll deal with. And there is a better way. And that's the way of being a CEO, actually owning something. And I'm not just talking about owning your personal brand or having a lot of Instagram followers or processing payments through your website. I'm talking about owning a client acquisition system. And most coaches don't even know that phrase. And so write it down. You need a client acquisition system. Again, something different than the solopreneur launch or marketing plan, and something different than the corporate networking, let me create a pitch deck plan. Those are all just like little things, and as a CEO, you could entertain yourself with those things. But CEOs think about systems. They think about sustainability. They think about how can I get this out in an efficient way? Because the people that we work with have life-changing solutions that the world needs. And it's really frustrating when clients come in and they're like, okay, I'm a health coach. This is what I do. I've been working in this corporation, or I've been working with these individuals. And we say, awesome. The fact that you've been doing that tells us that you are good at what you do. You can get people results. But let's also look at the breadth of your knowledge, because most coaches come in thinking, I'm a health coach, I'm a career coach, I just need to get more clients. But a CEO thinks about systems for getting solutions to the world. And coaching is an amazing vehicle to get solutions to the world. But most coaches don't know how to package or present or put together an offer. And if you've been in corporate, they usually kind of tell you what they want. At least if you're successful, you've had conversations, you haven't just gone out and said, okay, this is my program, do you want it? Right? Corporate conversations are much more back and forth. You need to ask them what they're looking for. You need to get in depth with the problems that they're looking to solve. That's why it's not just like one discovery call and then they pay you. And so it's difficult if you're not having that back and forth to know, like, what do I take to consumers? What do I post about? Or what should my sales page be? I kind of roll my eyes at those things because content and all of those bells and whistles do not matter as much as getting into conversation with these individuals. Just like what works on the corporate side, you just need to think about getting in front of thousands with our software, qualified people every single week, and hearing from them. Maybe start with some market research calls, but also show up as a CEO, not just to get a couple clients in the door, but to build a system. Okay, we've got lots of videos. Again, the full walkthrough is really going to help you think about how we put all of these puzzle pieces together, whether you've had corporate contracts or whether you're just getting started. But I wanted to record this video for those of you who are wondering what next, because I don't want you to just go chase the next credit card or chase the next HR manager, because there is a better way and the paradigm is shifting. Literally, these budgets are being cut as you listen to this, and you need to get out ahead of it and keep your expertise in the world, keep it in front of people, but don't rely on someone else's budget. Don't rely on someone else's leadership. Become your own CEO. And if you have questions about doing that, again, go to our video. I'm going to keep this brief because I think you already know that you need to be looking 1 year or 5 years down the road and know you can't just rely on whatever comes, or whatever this company decides to do with me. I want you to get out ahead of it and be prepared, so you create a client acquisition system and a base of abundance for yourself to keep doing the good work that we need. They're not going to sponsor it. You got to sponsor yourself. Cheers to growth. Go check out the CEO video.